the beginning of the field of e-learning, and you see the development in the last year. What do you think, what is going on in the business right now?
Well, e-learning's gone through several stages. I would believe it started way back in mainframe computing and then with PC network. And the big first push was when the internet came out in the mid-1990s. And then along the way, there have been multiple stages. Technology, mobile phones came out, our use of video. In the last probably about year and a half, what's changed e-learning dramatically has been that the learner themselves wants it, whether we are giving it to them or not. The learner who has a mobile phone is used to asking and getting answers on their phone.
How important is it? Right now there is a lot of talking about fake news and stuff, which is also a kind of learning by Googling something and somebody has
Right.
an opinion to something. So how important is that the business or the community is getting so strong that the people really know what they're doing?
Well, the word I would use, I'll use it in my speech, is curation. We need to be like good librarians because the learner is getting lots of news. Some of it actually might be fake news, but made beautiful. Some of it is not fake news, but just different views about something. A company could have a very wonderful leadership program, but there could be a different view on a TED Talk. So it's important that we honor that our learners will go where their fingers take them. But curation means that we're giving some context, some ratings, even some approvals along the way.
And the industry is doing this, or
We're just beginning to see the industry do it. Ironically, there's a role for corporate communications. In some organizations, there's a role for IT. In some organizations, there's a role for knowledge management, for learning, or even for the managers of their business units to do that. But there's an awareness that the learner has more news in front of them than ever before, but not a lot of time. So how do we help them?
what I think changed a lot is 10 years ago, 15 years ago, we had a clear vision of journalism. That was one of the parts to get information. It
Right.
was proved, it was solid. We knew there was some direction in this or that. Right now, everybody is able to have a blog or to print or do something. So how do we learn to find out which is right and which is wrong?
Well, if I have a restaurant, and it's a great restaurant, I could have good, legitimate reviews, and the person down the street could give bad reviews on that. Ultimately, the only way we do what you're asking is with trust. And so I think we have to not just be in the publishing of content business, we have to be in the trust business. And trust comes with data, trust comes with relationship. If I get a news story from somebody I trust, it doesn't mean I believe it, but I read it with a better heart. If I get a story that they got, I read it with, this is probably not true. So I think there's a role, a big role, for what trust does in our field.
And education is a big part of it as well?
Well, I think education or new habits. You know, I remember when the internet first came out, people went, wow, the Vatican has a website. You know, it was a big deal if somebody had a website. Now we're wanting to understand the source of news. We're wanting to understand the role that a cookie plays and the like. The other, though, part of e-learning is it's not just about reading or watching. The E in e-learning can mean engaging. So we have to get that piece of news, and then we have to go to the next step, which is to engage with our neighbor, with our colleague, or even with ourselves.
So it's still very important to talk life as well as...
Enormous. If we view e-learning as automated knowledge transfer, we're fooling ourselves. People don't change, and thank God they don't change that easily. It's one input, and the other inputs are, you said, we have to talk to ourselves, we have to talk to our community, and then finally, we have to practice what we just learned and probably fail a few ways down that stream.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.